But the major challenge that I've seen with farmers, with people farming, is the insecurity aspect. You can have hectares of land under production, and then when they grow, you see a certain guy with his cattle driving his cows into your farm.
Yes.
And you can't do shit about it.
Yes,
you can get.
You can't do nothing about it.
You can't do nothing about
Yes.
it. You end up being killed or something. You end up being harassed. You end up being arrested, and your crops are destroyed.
Yes.
Others farm, and then they are killed by rebels in the farm.
Yeah, you've talked of the people bringing the cows into your farm.
Yes.
Okay, South Sudan has the potential. Yeah, it's one of the countries which have the largest potential of in livestock farming.
Yes.
Can it be the principal axis? Yeah, in poverty reduction.
Yes. A lot of research has been done even recently on the number of cattle, number of cows we have in South Sudan.
Yes.
And it was potentially agreed that we have more cows than the population currently.
You're kidding?
Yes. We have more cows than the number of people we have in the country.
Yeah, all right.
And this stems from our cultural and traditional ways of life.
Yes.
Most of us being Nilots, we are into keeping cows.
Yes. Yeah.
And cows for us, for many people, for many tribes in South Sudan, is a form of wealth.
Yes.
If you don't have cows, then you are considered then that you're not wealthy.
You're a poor man.
You are a poor man. And that is why you see a lot of our rich people who have gained wealth in one way or the other, they don't have the financial literacy to take their monies offshore, so they invest in cows.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see a lot of people who have money end up buying cows. And having cattle, that huge number of cows, millions of cows, has led to conflicts.
We are proceeding to our next.
Yeah.
As an entrepreneur, because I know you as a director to a communications company,
Yes.
and we've seen you before. They've labeled you as the senior chief hustler in Juba City.
Yes.
And
that's true.
Yes, and that's true. Yeah, and we've also seen you really involved in your hometown, like some activities to do with farming and so on. So we want to touch on or dwell on this, what do you call it, a bit of entrepreneurship, because you have that in you, and most importantly, we want to touch on agribusiness and SMEs in South Sudan.
Yes.
I don't know if you're comfortable with it.
Well, of course, you have to be comfortable with everything about our country, and especially topics around the economy.
Yes.
Young people in business.
Yes.
Young women and youth in business.
Yeah, women and youth. Yeah.
And also as a factor of economic growth, agriculture, agribusiness. South Sudan as the youngest country on the continent.
Yes.
Hopefully, Somaliland will gain independence. I know that is controversial, eh?
I'm a political.
This guy is a political.
Yes,
I am
political.
very political. So I have my own opinions. Well, that's just by the way. Our economy currently depends 100%. 50%, our GDP that is, depends 50% on the oil revenue.
Correct.
We have a substantial potential in an oil revenue. And that is why we've seen a lot of changes with the Public Financial Act that strengthens the NRA, the Revenue Collecting Authority, so that we diversify our economy, so that we don't focus on one pool of gaining income.
Yes.
And during the liberation, the SPLM, not like the SPLM now, the SPLM then.
It's the SPLM.
Yeah, the SPLM then.
The SPLM, let's go.
The SPLM then was premised part of our liberation on ensuring that what we get from the oil revenue is directed in critical and key sectors. one of them being agriculture.
Okay. So what is the potential of the agribusiness in South Sudan?
South Sudan has about 6.7 million hectares of arable land. Out of this arable land, it's about 75% that is being used, that has the potential of being used. But currently we only have 4% of the 64.7 million hectares of the 75, which is arable, which is being used for subsistence farming. It's not enough to feed our people. So there is a lot around agricultural value chain that we need to focus on, and this is by identifying cash crops that that have the potential of removing the country from the issue of food insecurity. Food security and livelihood is a very important factor. So we need to focus part and parcel of our oil revenue in spurring the agricultural sector so that it grows. Because when you look at the agricultural sector, it's supposed to be the backbone of our economy. Being the backbone of our economy means it will spur economic growth, not only in terms of elevating food insecurity, it will also elevate individual and household financial sustainability, because it will create a lot of jobs for women and young people across the country. It will encourage infrastructural growth, because infrastructure, this is not only the road infrastructure. It talks about ITC. It talks about electricity. It talks about roads. So agriculture goes hand in hand with all this. And when you look at these other aspects, they then become an impediment to economic growth, to agricultural growth. So we need to focus a lot of our oil revenue from the Nile Pet, though it's a small percentage, but it's still enough. Focus it there so that we grow and incentivize our agriculture.
What other factors do you think will influence the growth of agriculture?
Number one, road infrastructure. Number two, security. Number three, financial incentivization of agriculture. That is, we need to have the youth enterprise and women enterprise funds in place. That starts by the current parliament and the current government enacting that law and ensuring that we have these funds in place, these enterprise funds, so that young people, either in groups or individuals, can have access to funds for them to, agriculture is not easy. You don't just wake up and you venture into, there's a lot of factors here.
You've talked about those laws. What laws do we have in South Sudan to support the farmers?
Honestly speaking, our agricultural sector has been underfunded a lot, especially the agricultural ministry. It has been underlooked because a lot of the resources have been diverted into the military and these other sectors, and so we've had issues with policies which are still hanging. The policies we have now on agriculture as old as then when we were the Sudan. So we've not had enactment, we've not had amendment of these laws, and we currently, I cannot confidently say we have policies that protect farmers.
Are they not favorable?
They are not favorable for our farmers because, number one, we've not yet even identified farmer cooperatives that are there so that we can be able to help them. We've not identified farmer groups. We've not even identified alternative markets for our products. And when we talk about agricultural value chain, there is the aspect of input, production, post-production, processing, and distribution. So all these things need to be in place.
To anyone new to agriculture or farming, may you kindly clarify what is contract farming?
Yeah, thank you very much. Contract farming is one of the modern forms of farming. Personally, I am passionate about contract farming. Contract farming simply implies that South Sudan, like I said, we have huge and large hectares of land that are not in use, that are not being tilled. So since our people do not have the incentive to farm, then we can come into agreement with public-private sectors through foreign direct investment and look for investors who are interested in agriculture. Countries like the Netherlands, they are really interested in investing in agriculture in South Sudan. So why not allow these countries, these companies, these international corporations and firms to invest in the country, in the agricultural sector, by tilling our land and producing the products from there. And then before we get to that point, that is, before we get there, we need to have the policies and laws in place to cushion and protect our farmers, to protect our land. Now we have undefined laws, land laws in South Sudan. That's why we have people having issues with land. Oh, the land belongs to the government, belongs to the community. So contract farming is one way of us getting out of food insecurity. And also it will create jobs for a lot of people. It will contribute a lot of foreign direct investment in our country, foreign revenue, even export. We will be exporting a lot of farm products instead of the fish. Now we are exporting fish alone, in the country, and the fishing industry is just but a factor of the agricultural sector. We have the poultry, we have the livestock industry, and then we have the farm produce.
Have we maximized, what do you call it, irrigation farming?
No, we've not done that. We've not done that. It's only a few people, few individuals who are doing that now, and it's not in the states. It's not in the states. And if you look at the states, like I said, 50% of the land, which is arable, or 75, it's only 4% it's on subsistence farming, where only individual families are doing farming so that they can feed themselves. But a large section of the country is food insecure, and nobody's doing irrigation farming. Do you have some of the farmers, like who do you think that they are trying their best, like and acting as an inspiration to the rest, like some of the farms or farmers that you know? Like I have had the advantage of traveling the country, and I have seen firsthand where we have food insecurity and where we have food security, and where as a country we have the potential of feeding the whole country. And I'm talking from the angle of the Equatorial Belt. I have been to the Equatorial Belt, all the way from Central Equatoria all the way to Western Equatoria. And a lot of NGOs, these are our development partners, are supporting farmers in the communities, and especially in the Equatorial region, through food security and livelihood projects. And what does it mean? It means they are giving farmers incentives so that they farm, not at the large scale, but at small scale. The 4% we are talking about. So farmers are given seeds, they are given tools, and they are technically trained on how to diversify their crops, and so that they move away from traditional farming. So we have the Equatorial Belt that has the potential, the youth potential of feeding the whole country. We also have the Upper Nile region that has also the huge potential of feeding the country, so that we divide the country like they do in Rwanda when it comes to agriculture. Every region is directed on what to produce, so that we don't duplicate production. If Upper Nile is focusing on livestock and fishery, then the Greater Equatoria focus on cash crop and food crops, and then we have the other region focus on different parts of crops. So this works for them, but I don't know how it can work for us. But it will take time. But this is where we should be heading. But the major challenge that I've seen with farmers, with people farming, is the insecurity aspect. You can have hectares of land under production, and then when they grow, you see a certain guy with his cattle driving his cows into your farm. And you can't do shit about it. You can't do nothing about it. You can't do nothing about it. You end up being killed or something. You end up being harassed. You end up being arrested, and your crops are destroyed. Others farm, and then they are killed by rebels in the farm. The other thing is lack of road infrastructure. You can produce a lot of harvest, but where are you taking it to? And then also market. If there's no market for these products, then where are you going to sell them?
Yes.
It will be a huge waste.
Yes. Yeah, you've talked of the people bringing the cows into your farm.
Yes.
Okay, South Sudan has the potential. Yeah, it's one of the countries which have the largest potential of in livestock farming.
Yes.
Can it be the principal axis? Yeah, in poverty reduction.
Yes. You know, a lot of research has been done even recently on the number of cattle, number of cows we have in South Sudan.
Yes.
And it was potentially agreed that we have more cows than the population currently.
You're kidding?
Yes. We have more cows than the number of people we have in the country.
Yeah, all right.
And this stems from our cultural and traditional ways of life.
Yes.
Most of us being Nilots, we are into keeping cows.
Yes. Yeah.
And cows for us, for many people, for many tribes in South Sudan, is a form of wealth.
Yes.
If you don't have cows, then you are considered then that you are not wealthy.
You're a poor man.
You are a poor man. And that is why you see a lot of our rich people who have gained wealth in one way or the other, they don't have the financial literacy to take their monies offshore, so they invest in cows.
Okay.
Yeah, so you see a lot of people who have money end up buying cows. And having cattle, that huge number of cows, millions of cows, has led to conflicts. And not just any conflicts. We've had conflicts related to grazing lands.
Yes.
We've had cattle wrestling for marriage, because people have to steal from the other so that you can have enough cows to marry. And this is an entire topic altogether.
Yes.
But in terms of agricultural production, cattle farming, this is livestock farming.
Livestock farming.
Livestock farming has the potential to be the principal axis to spur economic growth and poverty eradication. Because a lot of our farmers, a lot of our people, a lot of our herders keeping cows, somebody would have over 500 cows, cattle.
Correct.
Livestock, even 1,000. People have 2,000, 5,000. But they have not commercialized these cattle.
How do they commercialize it?
Now, this starts with incentivization from the government. That we need to talk to our livestock farmers that owning all this huge number of cattle is good. Okay, fine, it's good. You can have them; they're yours. But then they are contributing too much carbon dioxide to the atmosphere. So it's leading also, it's a factor of contributing to global warming. Now what we need to do...
Talking of carbon, we are the least in these countries, because...
I know we are the least, but we have a lot of cows that are contributing a significant amount of which is negligible anyway.
Ours is better.
But still, we need to tell them that to come out of this poverty, because you can see somebody having all these cows, but then they are poor. They can't even afford medication. They can't afford to take their kids to school.
How do
even to feed themselves? But you have 500 cows.
How is our beef industry?
Which beef industry? There is no beef industry.
If there's no beef industry, then how do you expect them to go?
For now, what we expect from our government is to create an environment where livestock farmers can be able to commercialize their cattle, because now there is a growing huge demand for meat. Especially in our towns.
The beef processing.
So we don't even have a beef processing farm. We have only abattoirs, slaughterhouses, where cattle are taken for slaughtering. But with time, even I've seen myself that a lot of these livestock farmers have decided to start selling their cattle. So they're selling it for meat, they're selling them whole, and others wholesale. You take your cows to the abattoir, they're slaughtered, and then you sell the meat. And that is one factor. There is the meat aspect to it. We have the hide, so we could have a huge potential for leather tiling industry, for the leather industry in South Sudan, and then also the dairy farming. You have all these cows, but then we don't have dairy cooperatives. So farmers should be taught how to go into a dairy cooperatives.
We might have those number of cows, but the breed of the cows, are they for
breed
dairy?
Depends.
Yeah, the breed.
And if you see most of the breed of cows that we have in South Sudan,
they can't support dairy farming.
They can't, but others could.
Okay.
Yeah, we're having
Unless we do crossbreeding.
There's a lot of crossbreeding happening now. A lot of cows being brought from within the region, South Sudan, especially in regions where the weather is favorable. And this is why we have the zebus, the borans, is this type of cattle that are resistant to harsh climatic conditions.
Yes.
So they don't produce a lot of milk, but if you have all this number of cows, then you have the significance for having a lot of milk. So also that is an industry that needs to be developed. So we have the meat processing industry. So generally it's a food processing industry, yes, where we can segment it into different sectors. Processing meat, processing hide for leather, and then also processing milk.
This topic, actually, we can discuss it for
forever.
ages, forever. Because you have what do you call it, substantial points to support this topic. But to the rest, we'll leave it out to our viewers to give their thoughts and comments here, like, and also their contributions. So it's up to you to give justice to this topic, and because Ustaz here has given us his bit of mind here. So to our last topic,
they say I wear many caps, I have many hats. One of the most important hats of mine is politics. I'm not a political, I'm 100% political.
I can see.
I have refused for people with less brain cells like mine to rule me or to lead me or to decide my future. I'm a founding member. That's what I can say, of youth, South Sudan Youth for Elections. That's a lobby group. It's not an organization.